good evening, everyone, and welcome to EduTALK. EduTALk is a virtual talk show created out of the need for a global learning community, and we focus on topics that directly impact Caribbean nations and nationals, Caribbean nations, nationals working across the globe. EduTALK features teachers, principals, business leaders, dignitaries, and anyone, especially students and parents who share some of their expertise and experience that are in education with a common goal of moving education forward and our students upward. I am your host. I'm Dr. Dwayne Dice, and I'm the CEO and founder of Education Solutions International, ESI, and you can visit ESI on educationsolutionsinternational.org for more information about this program and also for professional development and training for schools right across the globe. And we partner with anyone who share our value for education and the upliftment of people in general, especially our youth. Now, I'm joined by Mr. Carl Taffe, and Carl and I grew up in Jamaica a long time ago, but Carl is living in Japan right now. And before he speak and greet us with his wonderful, charming voice, we need to know that he is the Chief Officer of International Relations. Before that, he was the coordinator for international relations. And so now he's the chief officer of international relations, and he's in Toyota City in Japan. Welcome to EduTALK, Carl.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Dwayne.
It's fine. Yeah. So my home name is Peter, and so we're used to that. So anyway, yes. So Carl, so you are in Japan now for 15 years, yes?
A little short of 15 years.
Okay.
You could say about 14 and a half.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So very, very close. And I'm sure you're enjoying Japan, the far eastern country.
Right. Place I never fathomed, I never dreamt that I'd end up living.
Yeah,
I mean, asked me 20 years ago, I never thought I'd even set foot, on these soils.
Right.
But now this is home.
Yeah, this is home. Very good. Yeah, and of course, a Jamaican man living in Japan, speaking Japanese fluently, hanging out with different people of Japanese heritage and so on. It's remarkable. I'm building a whole network and a family there. Tell us a little bit about how you navigate the networking and like very, very simply forming relationship with people that far east.
Well, when I came here 14 and a half years, I came to a relatively small city. I mean, small compared to other cities in Japan. This is Toyota City with a population of about 420,000 people in total. I think Kingston has close to 700,000.
Yeah,
so Kingston is probably double that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
but right. So coming here, I was probably one of 2 or 3 Jamaicans, living in Toyota City.
Yeah.
So I knew then that I somehow had to find some sort of network. Not solely of Jamaicans, but, different nationalities, including, of course, the people here in Toyota City, Japan, the nationals who speak Japanese. Although coming initially, I spoke, 0 Japanese.
Wow.
So communication was a challenge at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I've lived in different countries. And I think one of the things I've been able to, I think I would almost say perfect, is to build, relationships, build friendships. So not long after coming here, I found myself, in a very comfortable group, comfortable community of people. So I applied, I think, the networking, abilities to be able to build some sort of system.
Yeah.
We need a system if we leave our country, our small little communities,
Yeah. Yeah.
and go to an international, setting. We need a community of some sort,
Yeah. Yeah.
to support
That's true.
us.
It's very true because we grew up in, as you said, small communities in Jamaica, and everybody knows everybody. So you can reach up a fence or walk across the street and ask for sugar and ask for salt,
Right.
black pepper, Scotch bonnet pepper, and so on. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a
That's right.
country where we eat from each other's aluminum foil of jerk chicken or jerk pork. Yeah,
Right. You could almost say hands.
hands. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the idea of me, because I visited you in Japan, thanks to you, by the way. I experienced Japan, and I experienced it not as a tourist. I experienced it just like going around with you
Like a local.
like a local, yeah,
Mm,
and meeting your local Japanese friends and people you
mhm,
work with, and I felt very much at home. People are very
mhm,
nice, very, very nice people in Japan.
mhm,
And so it's sort of easy to feel at home when you get that type of energy from people. And then you
mhm,
mentioned the language. Tell us
mhm.
how you acquire the language, Japanese language, because I know you spoke Spanish. You spoke
Mm.
Spanish fluently, and of course Jamaican patois,
I
you know.
I wouldn't say very fluently in terms of Spanish. I think I studied Spanish, I would say extensively, you know,
Oh,
especially in my college years. But
yeah.
having moved to Japan where nobody speaks Spanish,
Mm.
if you're not using the language, you really forget it.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
I can find my way around with
Mm.
Spanish now.
Okay.
But where Japanese is concerned,
Mm.
it's still a challenge, I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Wow, I didn't
This
see
is
that.
right after 14 and a half years.
Yeah.
I think I could have done a lot better in terms of my studies of the language. I am comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
speaking Japanese. I speak it relatively fluently, but still, kanji.
Yeah.
Kanji is the
Kanji.
most difficult of the three different characters that they use.
Yeah.
And even for Japanese nationals, many of them, people who have gone through tertiary levels of education, they
Mm-hmm.
still are studying and learning kanji. I mean, their own language.
To give you some consolation, people are still studying English. They even get doctorates in English still, and then they have editors of their
Right.
and so on. So just some consolation here.
Right.
Yeah, I remember in
So,
college, the um the professor actually the mark up my philosophy paper, mark it up. I said, "Do you speak English?" And she said, "No, this is not the declensions and all of that is off." So I said, "Okay."
mhm.
I felt really bad. All right, go on. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned, for example, English, because the patterns of English, the structure, the grammatical, formation and so on, is completely
Yeah.
different compared to Japanese.
Oh,
So when you talk about those, technical aspects of the language, and then you factoring, characters that we never come across in
yeah.
Jamaica or Caribbean, the U.S. or anywhere in the West. You're talking about learning these characters, and then when you come across kanji, for
Mhm.
example, one single character has several different pronunciations, different meanings, and
Oh,
so on. So it's a plethora of things that hit you when
yeah.
you imagine taking on the language, when you start to take it on at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
But I think for many foreigners,
Mhm.
people like myself, when we start studying Japanese, I think we get a bit confused. And the reason is we don't know where to focus on. We don't
Oh,
know what part of the language, because the language is so vast.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So without any kind of, advice or people who have, studied it themselves and, have some sort of shortcuts or maneuvers that you yourself can somehow use.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Without that, you're left with the big, broad language to study on your own.
Oh, wow.
But I think the only recommendation
Mm-hmm.
is to basically stick to it, as with anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot master anything, without sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember who it was that said that if you stick to a particular field or anything, even if it's a new, undertaking,
Right.
and you spend about either 10,000 or 20,000 hours with it,
Mm-hmm.
you become a master of it.
Wow. Wow.
There is that kind of philosophy. And
That's-
I think Japanese is such.
Yeah, yeah.
Japanese is,
Discipline. It's
mhm,
a discipline, yeah. A lot of
mhm,
well, we're not gonna get into this, but to plug
mhm,
about discipline. Discipline is one of the most extraordinary gifts that human
mhm.
beings can actually acquire. Discipline.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
And your philosophy, you're very deep in philosophy. I'm gonna get you back on the program to talk about philosophy and thinking. You know, but yeah, let me ask you about your work. This is very deep, and I enjoy talking to you so much, Carl. I want the world to know this that as a
Oh,
brother,
the pleasure is always mine, Dr.
yeah,
S.
as a brother, man, it's pretty deep and it's far and few between. You can find wonderful minds to connect and reason, just downright reason. So
Mhm.
you're the chief officer of international relations.
Chief,
Huh?
chief.
A chief. Oh,
Right.
you're more.
There are others,
Okay, sorry. Yes. So it's
even
one
though
of.
the company is quite small.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Company is quite small.
okay.
There are
So
not
you have
many.
one. Okay.
Hmm.
So a chief, one of the many, a chief officer of international relations. What does that entail? Yeah, thank you.
Well, to put it bluntly,
Yeah.
I would say my main responsibility is to help foreign nationals who come to Toyota City
Mm-hmm.
to find a system of support, basically.
Oh.
Because we offer, for example, Japanese language courses,
Mm-hmm.
um, primarily helping foreigners to be able to settle or to fit into the society.
Okay.
So, chief would basically mean that I supervise some of that work.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. All right, that's cool. So is it really relating to teachers only who are coming there to work, or tell us about what does it entail in terms
Mhm.
of nationals? Yeah.
Right. Um, right. Initially, when I came to Japan, I was in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take a break from my work in Jamaica. I came here for 1 year initially. That was my plan.
Right.
And I fell in love with Japan, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But right, I was in teaching for about 5 years, from 2009 to 2014.
Okay.
Right. But right now, where I'm working, it has very little to do with actual teaching in a classroom. But we're creating a city. The task is to create an environment where foreigners can come and almost immediately feel as if they belong.
Oh, okay.
So I mentioned earlier when I came to Japan, I spoke no Japanese whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So when I came, I also didn't know where to go to study,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So
Okay.
we have our Toyota City International Association
Mm-hmm.
and a website with multiple languages
Oh,
where people can, for example, if they come and they search for something in terms of learn the Japanese language, learn anything in Toyota City,
mm-hmm.
you probably hit our website, soon after.
Mm-hmm.
And the website basically guides you, regarding the languages that we offer. And the languages, when I say languages, I should specify that Japanese is the main language, of course, that foreigners will learn when they come
Mm-hmm.
to Toyota City or Japan.
Oh, okay.
But even for Japanese nationals who want to learn different languages. So if you think about a melting pot, you want to create a society or a community where even the people who've been here forever, if they want to learn Spanish or something like that, so that they can communicate with the people who speak Spanish from their surroundings,
Right.
even the very small communities. We have those kinds of systems. So if we don't offer the language ourselves at our organization, then we have connections with people who can, find the right kind of, approach or individual to help them to, achieve their goal.
Yeah. So do you have like French and Spanish? You have another chief officer of international relations?
Not, for example, specific languages like French and so on, but if an individual who speaks French wants to have French students or who want to learn French, for example, that teacher can come to our organization and use our public notice board. And this board basically gives the information out there that this person is looking for students to learn French, and vice versa. If you're a student looking to learn any language, for example, you put up that notice, and most likely you'll find someone who fits the profile, who will try to reach out to you.
Okay, all right, good. So that's for work, and I remember when I came there, the rugby,
right.
Rugby World Cup
Rugby World Cup
start, and I enjoyed that in the Toyota City Stadium and so on. It was
right.
yeah,
You
nice,
came to watch rugby games.
How is it? Is it easy for any tourist, the average person, to get around in Japan if they want to visit Japan?
I would say at least 14 years ago when I came, I think it was relatively difficult. I mean, you found a lot of signs on the roadways and so on in Japanese, basically only Japanese. But, well, as you can understand too, with the smartphones that everybody has now, nobody's looking where they're going anymore. People are constantly focusing on their smartphones. Even using the map. The street is in front of them, but they use the map constantly. Looking at
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But right, I think, with all these different ways of finding information and so on now, people don't find it that hard anymore in terms of getting information. But right, like I said, when I came, everything seemed to have been only in Japanese. But I think through the years, governments have realized that, they want to open the country up more, to as many foreigners as possible.
Oh, okay.
So they've made a serious attempt to, increase the languages that you can find around the, cities and so on.
Yeah, you mentioned they're trying to open up the country more to nationals. So they're more inclusive with people who are coming. You can come and work and leave after 3-4 years.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So let's talk now about the family life there. You have two nice, wonderful kids. They're beautiful, and when they're in school, how is it in terms of family? Because we usually judge a place based on family life and socialization with family and so on. Give us a little bit about what is that like, for your family, especially the kids' experience, because they are the ones experiencing it too.
Right. Well, I think family life is a strong point in Japan.
Okay.
I mean, surprisingly, a lot of the information that we get out in the West, about Japan, for example, I think some of it is stereotype.
Oh, yeah,
For
quite.
instance, of course, one thing I've come to respect
Mm-hmm,
of the Japanese society
mm-hmm,
is the work ethics.
mm-hmm.
I mean, we've heard that many times in the West growing up, you know, how you would probably pass a bus stop and you see kids,
Yeah,
some kids would be playing marbles or whatever and
yeah,
so
yeah.
on. But if you go and see a bus stop with Japanese kids, they'd be reading a book or something.
Oh, wow.
They'd be reading a book. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the discipline towards study and work,
Mm-hmm.
it's like nothing you've seen, anywhere else.
So if somebody
And
say that
mm,
the stereotype where Asian people, they're very good at math and science and so on.
mm, mm,
Yeah, I don't believe that 100% because we
mm,
don't
mm,
instill the same values in our kids here in the
right,
West.
right, right.
In the West, I'm talking.
Mhm,
So do you find that there are challenges with students to learn math and science and musical instrument, even though they pin it on them and say, well, she's Chinese, so she can play that violin, and so on,
mhm,
which is a
mhm,
stereotype that it's not 100% true, but because of
mhm.
discipline and the work that they put in. So do you find out that there are there are students who actually not doing so well in these core areas?
Mhm. Right. There can be one extreme that we hit. For example, when we try, too hard,
Yeah,
you'll probably find people becoming, completely opposed to what you're trying to push or, what you're trying to introduce
yeah,
them to. So one of the things I've observed, and we mentioned, the work ethics.
yeah.
The work ethics is something that is sewn into the fabric of the society of Japan. I
Mm,
mean, everybody basically focuses on, perfection,
yeah.
getting that high score, that top mark in their
Mm,
class. It's from the, very early stages of their education.
yeah,
And you see it in the companies as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think for kids, as you'll find anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
if you push kids too much, they become somewhat resistant,
Resistant, yeah, yeah.
to what you're pushing them
Yeah,
towards.
yeah.
And I tend to see some of that, present here. That
Okay.
a lot of the kids, they go to school, and then after school they go to a what they call a cram school.
Oh,
Uh, Cram school in Japanese they call it a juku.
true. Oh, is that like
Juku.
it's a high school for like dropout kids who never make it to the
No,
top?
no, it's just to supplement their education.
Oh, so it's like
So
tutoring in the afternoons.
right,
Oh,
right.
okay,
So
got it.
on top of regular schooling,
Yeah,
majority of the kids that you see in the classroom,
yeah,
they're going into these programs to improve their education so that they can get top jobs. Of
yeah.
course, getting into top high schools and colleges. Then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, getting top jobs in the society. So the system is structured in such a way that these kids, I think, at some point they start to, rebel.
Rebel, yeah, yeah.
They
Because that's
rebel against it,
yeah, it's a lot.
and mhm. So a lot of them try really hard.
Yeah, yeah,
But when I taught, for example, in junior high schools,
yeah.
a lot of the kids seemed a bit tired,
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh,
know, right? Because they would have been spending, hours even after school going into that, cram program.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Then they go home and they have to do the homework that they got from school and so on.
Yeah, well,
And even my daughter, who's now in second grade of elementary school,
yeah.
we say primary school in Jamaica,
Right, right.
she's been given so much homework. I mean, even in her first grade,
Yeah.
her entire summer was basically consumed with,
With
doing
work?
homework.
Wow.
So, so from an early stage, they develop that discipline.
Yeah, yeah.
and the discipline basically translates into every aspect of their development.
Yeah, okay, so that's academic. I kind of sense that that's what it is. I'm thinking it's the same in China as well. So the school life, because normally people talk about Japanese that they're helping in the school. The students are actually helping. There's not many, if no, maybe no custodial workers, but the students are actually cleaning up, collaborating with teachers in terms of sanitation. Give us your take on that, what you experience with the students here.
Right. Coming out of the Caribbean, out of Jamaica, we knew the custodians and so on. We saw them around the schools, and we knew them by names.
Yeah.
But but here in Japan, as you mentioned, I was completely shocked when I worked in the junior high schools, for example, and when the bell rang after lunch, all the kids, you would see them running out of their classrooms, and some would be running to the toilets, and they'd be grabbing brushes, they'd be scrubbing the urinals and the toilets and so on. And then you see them running down the corridor using, towels and stuff to wipe the floors. And they did it with such pride. They had so much, pleasure doing these things. And this is something that we would never witness in the West. In fact, if we ask kids to pick up trash that one of them might have put on the floor, you find a lot of kids saying, I'm not going to touch that. That's not my responsibility. Is it? They'll probably say that the cleaning staff will take care of that. And so, yeah, but
even pencil. They drop a pencil on the floor and they dare not ask one of them to take that pencil up. What I would say, they compared to the West, that's amazing. And we have a sense of entitlement here in America and in the West. It seems like the system is built on entitlement. That's the danger of our society here, the entitlement. And then there's another thing too, Carl, that I'm seeing where they confuse this idea of confidence with entitlement, that if you reach out and you advocate for something and you're big and bold and you lift your chest up for it and so on, you classify that as confident, that I'm confident in what I do. And I'm saying no, that's not confidence. Confidence, you don't have to be big and bold.
That sounds a bit like arrogance.
It's arrogance, yeah. Yeah, I see it a lot.
And I'm not saying that any particular society is arrogant or or whatever, but what you've described there, I mean, people who missing the focus, missing the point, and not realizing that there are certain benefits derived from the discipline that we're trying to instill in the kids.
Right.
We kind of miss the point.
So the cleaning is one thing where they take part in that in their school. So that actually helps with developing self-esteem and character in the person, that you take and a sense of cleanliness for your environment and protection. What about the food and so on? Do they help with preparing food in the cafeteria as well?
Right. They do not help with the actual cooking, actual preparation of the food, but the food is brought by a company. A truck driver who delivers the food. But once the person brings the food into the cafeteria, for example, there is a specific group of kids that are assigned that particular day, or perhaps a week, to fetch the food and to bring it to the classroom. And they have to serve the food and give it to all the kids. And once the food is eaten, once everything is finished, that particular group is also responsible for cleaning up. Then they'll take the dishes, they'll take the cutlery and so on, and they'll actually wash them. So you're talking about work that kids, they learn this at school, and they can definitely use those skills at home to help their parents.
Yeah.
Because if they don't do it at home,
Yeah.
then the school is giving them an opportunity to learn these
Mhm.
things.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's really remarkable. I love it. I really love
Mm,
it. And I'm
mm,
hoping that one day we'll probably reach maybe
mm,
quarter
mm,
of what you're saying. That's at least in our
mm,
hearts and speak it
mm.
that we wish we could become like that, where we care so
Right.
much. And not even caring, because sometimes you
Mm,
want to go play with your friends, but because you have this duty to country
mm,
and to community, that you do
mm.
it. And you don't have to belong to the military to do it. You,
Right,
you
right,
just
right.
do it. You just do it because
But
it's the right thing.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know what would be the real reason behind this, but I guess you could say it's tradition.
It is
It's a
tradition.
custom
Yeah.
that they're, basically being introduced to
Yeah.
generation after generation,
Yeah.
because the society is somewhat homogenous.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
than 90%, we could probably say 95% have been born here and they've lived here their entire lives.
Oh, okay.
So
So
they have this system where they learn from their parents and the parents learn from their grandparents, and it's
yeah.
just a norm.
And that's the problem we have here, because we put
Mhm,
our grandparents in America, they tend
mhm,
to run with them as soon as they reach a certain age, and they say, oh, I have a little pain here. They take them to the elderly homes. So the
yeah,
kid,
right, right,
there's no continuation of
right,
tradition uh
right,
to,
right.
to, to the students. So they're lacking in care,
Mhm,
where you would
mhm.
grow with your grandparents and you care about them, and you
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
well, I'll fetch some water for you. No, you
mhm.
either do it or you pay somebody to do it for your
That's right.
grandmother while you go out and you have fun.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
very
And
sad.
generosity is a thing
Yeah,
um, almost of the past,
yeah. Oh,
unfortunately.
it's a very yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Well, we still do it. I still try with my daughter. And
Right.
though she's growing up in America, I said, do not adopt those
Mhm, mhm,
values that I see around us. And I'm
mhm, mhm,
not everything is bad, but
mhm,
they're very deep, um, self-centered values, and this
mhm, mhm,
individualism that I do
mhm,
not
mhm,
agree with, because I believe in
mhm,
community. And the way we
mhm,
talk about community in America, it's not community. It is really not community. It is
mhm.
it is take everything for yourself, and what is left over, you can give it to them.
Right, right,
Or
right,
if you race to the front of the line first and then you look back, instead
right.
of
Mhm,
what Simon Sinek wrote a book, that it's a leadership book that says leaders eat last.
mhm,
Tell that to
mhm.
somebody in the West. Leaders eat last. Carl, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Always a pleasure,
Yeah,
Peter.
one thing before we're gonna wrap up in a tiny bit here.
Yes.
Give us a little bit in Japanese. Like some of the common phrases that you'll use. Just a few of them. Common, like always. I know. Good morning, good afternoon, thank you, konnichiwa.
Mhm.
Um, give us what do they normally say often, that somebody who is going there can latch on to a saying like that, like to hello, how are you, some of those ones, but not the common ones that we normally would hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, right. As you mentioned, things like arigato gozaimasu. Arigato. That's basically thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think in any society, in any culture, saying thanks, the ability to show gratitude is just unparalleled.
yeah, yeah.
But arigato gozaimasu is a polite way of saying thank you.
Mhm.
But when you've had the pleasure of knowing someone and working with someone for quite some time, you say basically yoroshiku onegai
Hiroshi-
shimasu. Yoroshiku
Hiroshiku
onegai shimasu.
onegai shimasu.
Onegai.
Onigai
Onegai shimasu.
onigai shimasu. I'm trying.
Right. So
Onigai
in a meeting like this,
shimasu.
I'm always honored to talk with you, Dwayne. So I would say, itsumo yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Yes, it's
Itsumo means always.
yes, it's pleasure is
So,
mine.
right. Maybeこれからも
Holy cardamom.
よろしくお願いします。
Okay. Yoroshikimu.
お願いします。
Onegaishimasu.
Right. It means I'm looking forward to your goodwill in the
Oh,
future as well.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to, when we finish watching this, I'm gonna rewind and then watch again. But
Okay.
yeah, that's very good. Yeah. I'm gonna ask Juliana to watch too, because she wants to learn a bit of the language so that when she visits, she can partake. She's doing French now, doing very well. But
Oh, good,
yeah,
good.
Carl,
Good.
thank you
Well,
so much.
a
Go on.
pleasure.
Yes, yes.
A pleasure. Well, my daughter would be happy to teach Juliana some.
Oh God, that was yeah. We're gonna connect on that level so
Of
that they
course.
can.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Thank you so much for coming on and
So
sharing
it's a
with us.
pleasure.
Yes, yes. And for viewers, please join us for EduTalk every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's been a pleasure sharing this time with all of you. Thank you for watching. And this has been EduTalk. What good, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.